Tesla says, well, Tesla's aim is to produce affordable electric cars, $25,000 for a car with a decent range that you will want to own. We know how Tesla plans on going about doing this. We've seen their actual plans. Stellantis, though, well, not so much. Stellantis say they will produce a $25,000 electric car. It's going to be affordable. The masses will love it. Volkswagen Group says they'll do the same thing as well. But neither of these companies have really outlined how they plan to go about it. However, before they can even do that, Stellantis are now saying that because of unions in America, the $25,000 electric car dream could likely be dead. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans. I'm the Electric Viking. Welcome to the new subscribers. Great to have every single one of you, and welcome back everyone else. It's great to have you too. Right now, there are no electric cars in the US at all that cost $25,000 US. Now, there's no proper electric cars in Europe either that cost that amount either. Now, it's not technically true. I mean, there's sort of little mini ones and stuff, but nothing really mainstream. Stellantis, however, aims to change that. They say they will, even though they seem to now be concerned that maybe this dream could be over. Whether Stellantis and other manufacturers can hit this ambitious target on a wide scale in the coming years, though, it does, well, appear to be seen, because we don't know exactly how they're going to go about it. Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, said producing EVs that are attainable for the middle class should be a topic of discussion during this year's UAW contract negotiations. The thing is, though, at the same time, Chinese automakers are already producing, well, to be honest, millions of EVs around that price that are compelling. They're not asking the question how to do it and saying it's too hard because of labor or any other reason. They're simply getting about their business. So maybe Stellantis are aware that Europe is an area where they'll likely lose a lot of market share because they can't really compete with those companies. But North America or the United States has now become a priority. And that's why Stellantis are very concerned that making a $25,000 US electric car in the US could be impossible with the costs of labor that are proposed by the union's new agreement. Reaching that price range, Carlos Tavares said last month, will be crucial to protecting jobs in the long run. Tavares has said in the past that Stellantis would need to absorb the additional costs that come with building EVs and not pass them on to consumers. He has crowed about recently, though, that Stellantis had a higher operating margin over the past quarter than Tesla did. And he said, look, we told you Tesla's overrated. We just made more money per car than Tesla did. Now, they did actually make more money per car. That's not actually true. They made a higher gross margin, but not more profit per car. The company's imperative to reduce its fixed cost structure in pursuit of more affordable EVs is clashing, though, with the union's demands for higher wages and benefits at the bargaining table. And Stellantis, they're not happy. Stellantis has budget-friendly electric options on the way in Europe from Fiat and Citroën. The Citroën EC3 is arriving early next year, and a Fiat Panda-inspired model will be unveiled in July 2024, expected to be priced at around 25,000 euros. Now that's 27,500 US dollars. We need to work very hard to reach that point, Tavares said, of a $25,000 US EV for North America. Part of the things we need to discuss with our union partners is how we make affordable EVs in the US that the middle classes can buy and that are sustainable because they're profitable. Now, I don't personally agree with this sentiment. I believe in a period of disruption, you have to do what the Chinese car makers are doing. Be willing to make a loss in order to get through the disruption period and become one of the new companies that are still left standing, that still exist. And if Stellantis are unwilling to do that, I believe they will not survive. The reason for this, the competition are willing to do that. The competition are willing to make either almost no profit or a loss in order to get through this technological disruption. Because the truth is, the costs of EVs are declining every year. Battery pack costs are coming down. As you mass manufacture products, your costs decline. Think about how much it cost to make a car 100 years ago, right? The costs now have come down significantly because of mass manufacturing. After 100 years in the Texas car business, the Kinzel family decided to sell their top dealership group in Southeast Texas in 2023. The electric vehicle transition does not have to be a race to the bottom, says Stellantis. Unfortunately, Stellantis has taken the low road approach, resulting in closed plants and destroyed communities, said Fane, who is the president of the UAW, in a statement to Automotive News. Stellantis' business model is broken, and until they fix it, they'll never hit that $25,000 target. Now, the unions did not actually say, when they said Stellantis' business model is broken, which I agree, they didn't say, here's a solution for Stellantis, here's what they should do. They just said their business model is broken. The industry still has a ways to go before it consistently delivers EVs under $30,000 in the US. The outgoing generation of the Chevrolet Bolt EV is the least costly at $27,500, including shipping, but obviously GM make a loss on those, and that's why they plan on discontinuing that model. The other option, though, is the Nissan Leaf, which, like the Bolt, is a small car. Consumers wanting more space and variety have to look upstream and spend more money. Some industry observers wonder if profitability will be non-existent for an EV around $25,000, and General Motors believe that's the case. GM said they won't be able to make a profit on an EV costing between $30,000 to $40,000 until 2030 at the earliest. Getting to that price of $25,000 means stripping out much of what consumers want in a vehicle. Now, Tesla, I don't believe, agree with that. I believe they think that there are ways to get around this. However, Teslas are quite Spartan. That's true. Doug Betts, president of Global Automotive at JD Power, pointed to Tesla's minimal interiors as an approach that could be adopted by more manufacturers. Betts said $25,000 EVs will definitely open up the market, but he thinks building them would require more cost reductions in addition to the savings realized as battery prices come down in the coming years. Now, Chinese automakers think that Tesla actually probably had the solution all along, which is something they've just adopted. They've just copied their features. In fact, that's not an opinion statement from me, that's just simply fact. There's a number of automakers now in China using structural batteries. For one of them, BYD, CATL, some of the biggest companies in China are now copying the structural battery concept that Tesla pioneered. Gigacasting, they're actually now copying gigacasting as well. Toyota have admitted that actually, yes, this is the right way to go about it, and they plan to make their EVs in future using those technologies. Lithium iron phosphate batteries, it's another thing that Tesla pioneered outside of Chinese automakers. They're the only Western company to have done that and sold LFP-powered EVs en masse to the market. That's 3 different ways to bring the cost of EVs down. The fact that Stellantis can't think outside of the square and come up with their own way, or at least copy some of those innovations, to me is a little bit of a surprise. Anyway, it's been rumored that Tesla's $25,000 hatchback or small SUV will come within the next few years. One of the things about Tesla's ways of working, though, is they mass manufacture one model. I mean, really, they only have 2 models they manufacture globally right now. And they have the world's best-selling car as a result of that. Make a lot of one model and you can bring down the costs, amortize the costs. Make many models like Stellantis plan to do, more than 75 different electric cars, and the costs will, of course, increase. Tavares' $25,000 goal is, well, it's interesting, but it's not one that can be achieved quickly, said Stephanie Brindley, Associate Director of Auto Intelligence for S&P Global Mobility. The industry is going to need more affordable products of all powertrains, Brindley said. Now, I don't agree with that. All powertrain stuff is nonsense. That's like what you do when you want to dip your toe in the water. You don't want to commit to a company. You believe, I'm not too sure on this technology. I'll just build lots of different things, lots of different kinds of technologies and hope that one of them sticks. You've got to go all in. What about what Arnold Schwarzenegger said? He said, don't have a plan B, just have a plan A. Go all in and stick with it. The big mistake in my view that Toyota has made is doing what Brindley suggested, which is trying to have all different powertrains, plug-in hybrids, internal combustion engine vehicles such as diesels. Then, of course, they've got gasoline-only powered vehicles. Then, of course, they have a small number of EVs, but they also have hydrogen fuel cell powered vehicles. And now they also have hydrogen engine vehicles. You can imagine the cost to develop engines and platforms for all those different technologies. It's off the chart. The broader question and issue is getting electric vehicles at a more affordable price points, more so than specifically $25,000 being that price point, said Brindley, because we have some that with incentives get that low, although not very many. Now, here's the key point. A $30,000 electric car in the US, in my opinion, if it's compelling, would sell incredibly well, because if it's made in the US, Mexico, or Canada, it will qualify for those $7,500 EV incentives on offer. Now, here's the concerning part. Auto Forecast Solutions believe Stellantis' goal is not feasible for at least a decade. They said bringing out a profitable being the key point, yet cheap EV in the $25,000 price range is still about a decade away for All automakers not named Tesla. This comment came from Sam Furani, who is the Vice President of Global Vehicle Forecasting for Auto Forecast Solutions. Furani sees limitations on which segments manufacturers could enter at that price, with many of them likely being compact models for the time being. The journey to profitability, he said, will take time. Everybody keeps saying how Ford is losing a ton of money on their EVs, and they are. And Tesla is profitable, but it took a decade to be profitable. So expecting the legacy automakers just to be profitable on day one is absurd, Furani told Automotive News. Lower the price to $30,000. It's going to push that profitability even further out. Now, ultimately, even if Stellantis does absorb additional costs associated with building EVs and avoids passing them on to consumers, well, higher wages will unquestionably affect their ability to sell EVs at $25,000. What I believe they'll do is they'll say they'll have an EV for $25,000 in much the way General Motors said that they will have electric cars for $30,000, such as the Equinox, and Ford said it with the Ford F-150 for $40,000. Sell a few of them at that price in the base model specification, and then simply cancel the base model and sort of use it as a bit of a marketing tool to get interest in that product. Unfortunately, that doesn't work long term, as Ford have found out with the F-150 Lightning, and of course, as well, recently with the Mach-E. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But what I see here, and what I'd like you guys to tell me what you think about this, is the fundamental challenge that these companies face is making a profit on electric cars, not on internal combustion. They keep on crowing about how they're making these profits, these billions of dollars on internal combustion. But by 2030, which is not that far away, we're only talking 6.5 years, well, internal combustion will be close to illegal in most major auto markets. Euro 7 regulations will pretty much end internal combustion by 2027 in Europe. Well, same thing is happening in China. That's more than half the world's global car sales. In addition to that, the United States has their own emissions regulations, meaning around 50 to 60% of the cars currently being sold in the US will be illegal to sell within only a few years in the United States itself. This is a very, very difficult situation for these companies to be in. And for Stellantis to be faced with massively higher wage costs in the US, it possibly means that they will have no foreseeable way to make an affordable electric car. Now, that is my opinion, but what are your thoughts on that? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.